Georgia's gone on the road. They've played good teams. I'm sure that's the case for everybody in college football. Surely the rest of the AP top 10 is legitimate, aren't they? Oh, no, we may have some words about that today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. Today is Locked On Bulldogs Wednesday. We're glad you're all here. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Get the best seats in the house via the Game Time app. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. Thanks for being your first listen of the day, as well as the loyal third segment listeners that listen all the way in, and the everydayers that come back every single day. We'll be back tomorrow with more content. But today we had some interesting things come to us. Daniel, we had over close to 20,000 of y'all join us for our perfectly rational reaction.
Yeah.
Saturday
I mean,
night.
it has a name now and people know it by that name. So it'd be weird to change the name, but the title's not appropriate.
The Overreaction Saturday show was exactly what you would anticipate. 20,000 of y'all are here with us. We're so glad you guys are here. We do this podcast for you. We talk UGA ball like fans do.
That's on YouTube and the audio side. Who knows how many people there are.
Come on. We don't try to be anything else but Georgia Homer fans.
So let the record show. That's it. That's all we're trying to do. So
if you tell us that,
Texas
you have
fans,
complimented me.
Welcome to the show.
Glad you're here.
Alabama fan, Ohio State fan, Tennessee fan, Ole Miss fan, Mizzou fan. Do you exist? Miami fan? Surely not.
Sure.
We're
State and them are out.
There's a lot of teams we probably are going to upset, and you're going to probably say, "Well, that's just something a Georgia homer would say." And you're exactly right. In fact, two Georgia homers would say that because that's what the podcast is all about. Okay. Let's start with where this was predicated from, Clint. This conversation, came from somewhere because we're to the point in the season when stats are beginning to emerge. Things are coming to light. The sample size is growing a bit. And so you're getting to some meaningful stats, such as this one.
This was really interesting to me. I had the light of day shown on my face. We came out of Kroger Field like we always do in one possession games. And I thought to myself, we had some incredible teams. Maybe I need to look back in tomorrow's episode, come back. We have some other thoughts of why this might be the case. But I had to say something must be different for Georgia to go down to 2, Texas to go up to 1, which the official Locked On Bulldogs line is we don't care. So have fun.
I'm thrilled, actually. I actually do care. I am thrilled.
We care in the opposite way that most people care.
You know how Kirby got that microphone at practice, Clint? He gonna be.
What's he saying? What's he saying?
I believe the acronym is GATA. He's gonna be doing a little bit of that over these next couple weeks.
He is. So we started looking back and trying to find teams that were impressing people. And then we compared those to Georgia because Georgia had the most viewed game this last weekend. The Georgia-Kentucky game had over 6 million views. The Alabama-Wisconsin game had around 5 million, something like that. So we started thinking, okay, of these teams, Texas didn't have anybody watching except on the Texas network because Texas, this just in, hasn't played anybody. So I started thinking Georgia has played somebody, and Georgia has famously not given up a touchdown. Other teams that have not given up touchdowns, and we have more stats to go along. Ohio State, Georgia, Ole Miss.
That's it.
End of list. Now,
teams that have not given up a touchdown.
Now
that's interesting.
We love Locked On Ole Miss. And by the way, that's not trolling. We actually do. We think he does
we really do.
Job. Steve,
he's sometimes fantastic. It's trolling, sometimes it's not. Know the difference. This time it is definitely not.
It's not. We appreciate it. But Ole Miss
can't wait for the crossover later.
Oh, that's going to be wild.
It's gonna be
Ole Miss beating their chest, giving up no touchdowns.
Oh, loving that. Yeah, best defense in the SEC.
Let's just take a hot minute and see who we've played of those teams, Daniel. Ohio State and Ole Miss hasn't played anybody with a better top 100 offense. Let me say it again. The two teams of the three that haven't allowed a touchdown, haven't played an offense that is better than 100th total in offense. Meanwhile,
Well, that's not great.
Georgia has played nearly double better offenses than both of those based upon the strength of the offensive cumulative of those teams. Georgia's faced double the talent, double the statistics, and haven't given a touchdown. So you might say Georgia's defense is doubly as impressive as those two other defenses that haven't given a touchdown yet. We did call our shot Ohio State probably wasn't allowed a touchdown in the first 6 games, something like that. So far, it's true. I think they give up one coming up soon. But Daniel, but it needs to be said. It needs to be addressed. It must be put out there that Georgia has, in fact, played a schedule that no other top 10 team has. We have already been battle tested. I'm not saying each opponent has been incredible, but we've had only one home game. You can call Atlanta whatever you want. I don't care. It's not your home stadium. It's not your home fans. It's nothing of the same atmosphere whatsoever in the Bins. 2 road games, 1 home game.
Mm-hmm.
2 top defenses. 2 teams that are competitive in games.
Mm-hmm.
1 SEC night game.
Mm-hmm.
No one's even come close to that schedule in the top 10. And it bears out in the statistics of Georgia's defense. This is why I said last week, I still consider this defense elite. It's proving up in the statistics. I still think it's there. It did show us a little crack in it. We're going to get better. But Daniel, we got to talk about these top 10 teams here in segment 2 and 3 and what the heck is going on, because you just run down the list. Our eyes are telling us something. And it's none of y'all impressing us.
No. Clemson 34th in total offense, by the way. No team inside the top 100 for Ohio State or Ole Miss. So not all touchdown droughts are created equal, I think is the point of segment 1. So if you don't hear anything else we say this segment, it's Georgia hasn't allowed a touchdown, and they played on a neutral site against the 34th best offense in the country. And no one else has. So
no one else has.
But it's not just that, because that would be unfair to Ohio State and Ole Miss, because the rest of the top 10, they might be just as bad. We'll talk about them and some more right after this.
But first, let's know about FanDuel. FanDuel's fantastic. You've heard us talk about a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you right now through September 22nd. All FanDuel customers get $5. If you bet $5, get 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com, download America's #1 sportsbook, and you get over the action tomorrow on the Locks episode. We're going to be giving you odds. And by the way, that spicy little Michigan line against USC is intriguing. Which side might one of us come back on that? FanDuel is going to be the place to. But that's not the only thing we want to talk about. We also want to know about Game Time. Daniel and I love Game Time. We use it exclusively every single time we go to the Dawgs game. This is where we go. We love going to events. We like taking our families. We like taking everybody we can, because it's just a whole atmosphere. There's nothing like getting good seats at a good
But you got to know what it's going to look like from the seat. Is there going to be a big column in my way, a big partition that I'm not going to be able to see around? It's important. Game Time.
It's really important. GameTime.co. Game Time filters out the fluffs and show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through. We have used them, like I said, every single time we go to Athens. We're continuing to use them. We tried the algorithm. We tried to get all the little bars up there of Safari and how much each, yada, yada, yada. Look at the timer countdown. Guess what? Doesn't matter. Game Time is where it's at. Game Time. Curation is easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything. It's got seat views. It's got the lowest price guaranteed, and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
All right, Clint. So those are the three teams that haven't given up a touchdown in college football. But let's just walk our way through the rest of the top 10, shall we? Let's see how many fan bases we can
let's start really
endear ourselves to.
With Ohio State fans. You're beating your chest of having 6 total points scored against Akron and Western Michigan.
Oh.
You didn't travel more than a 2.5 hour bus ride from your stadium.
No. Why would you?
And you played Western Michigan
and
the Zips of Akron. Okay, great.
Ohio State hasn't played anybody.
Nope.
Period.
That's understatement.
Again, that's like we're to be clear, we're not saying Ohio State's not good.
No.
Just don't be offended at the truth that you haven't played anybody. Georgia fans, we've heard this before, right? And we, as a Georgia fan, we've heard before, like, we haven't played anybody, right? And so, like, surely those same fan bases are fine when we simply point out the facts of the matter that, like, they haven't played anybody either. Like, the Wisconsin Badgers with a backup quarterback. Would you consider that somebody, Clint?
No, because the Badgers have offensive linemen that can come in and replace starters and be okay.
Maybe.
But they don't got skill players, especially at the quarterbacking position of note.
All right. So we're beating our chest that we went in there and we jumped around in Madison and we got a big win after struggling for 3 quarters against the South Florida Bulls.
Okay.
At home.
Yeah. It was the fumbles.
We beat Wisconsin with a backup quarterback. Alabama hasn't beaten anybody yet. Not saying Alabama's not good. Not saying Alabama won't beat anybody this year. I'm just trying to tell you the facts of the matter. Ole Miss probably has the softest schedule. I mean, Ole Miss don't have to say but like Ole Miss has an absolutely insanely soft schedule so far. Ridiculous. And spoiler alert, it's not going to get a lot harder anytime soon. Like,
no, it doesn't get hard for the next 3. They're at home against Kentucky.
It's not great. It's not a great schedule. Ole Miss is just going to
Furman, Middle Tennessee, and Wake Forest.
Wake Forest?
You went out of conference and you picked up the bottom feeder of a bottom feeder conference.
And now you're mad because they canceled their home and home. And so you might have to play a team with a pulse. Oopsie. Like, that's the reason you're actually mad. Ole Miss fans. Oh, is Tennessee next? Clint?
Let's go ahead and talk about
Tennessee fans.
Hey, Tennessee fans.
Hey, Tennessee fans. Number 6 in the AP poll. Fastest rising team in the AP poll. People love them some Tennessee Volunteers. And Clint.
Yeah.
Vol Twitter would like you to know.
Please tell me.
This entire episode is fraudulent.
Why is that?
Because Tennessee has a ranked win, Clint. A win over a team that was ranked when they beat them.
Tell us who that is.
That's the NC State Wolfpack. Okay. NC State was ranked 24th at the time that Tennessee absolutely drubbed them in Charlotte, North Carolina, the world's largest tub of mayonnaise. And NC State since then, even since then, even before then, almost lost to Western Carolina in week 1.
I was just going to say Western Carolina, 21-38.
NC State in week 3, the week after Tennessee. What'd they come out and do, Clint?
Well, La Tech is clearly the up-and-coming power conference team that's going to be making the playoffs in the group of...
not the group of anything. I'll tell you that.
They group somewhere. It's a grouper just dragging them down to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. NC State has benched their quarterback.
Oh, no.
They're now on to a true freshman starting at quarterback. They cannot move the ball on anyone on offense. So Tennessee fans, just beat your chest some more that you gave up 10 points to Tennessee hasn't beaten anyone even decent.
No.
I mean, like, listen, None of these teams, and this is ultimately the point of the episode, none of these teams even hold a candle to Clemson. NC State plays Clemson this weekend. Let's just see who wins. We'll just wait and see, I guess, who wins. None of these teams will even have the ability to remotely compete with Clemson were they to match up against them. Like
Tennessee may just may. I think this is like the coffee table book. They're getting their Kramer era in now, if you will.
It's got little legs. It folds.
It's got little
out.
legs. It folds right up. You can just put it right there.
Make a coffee table.
Because they might have 2 losses on their hands when they play Georgia.
2 losses.
2, Daniel. 2.
I think we all know that Alabama could beat Tennessee. Who else you got on there?
I'm going to say
not this weekend.
No,
not this weekend.
No.
Tennessee does play somebody this weekend. To be fair, they do play Oklahoma, and Tennessee fans, we acknowledge that. That is an actual team. Oklahoma.
But is it?
I mean, they're not a bad team, Clint. Nobody at the end of the season is going to be like Oklahoma was terrible this year. NC State is terrible this year.
Did Tulane come out of the second half and give them a scare coming out, Daniel?
They got to within 6 points, but did Tulane come out of the gate and get their ass beat 21-0?
Did they only beat Houston by 2?
Yeah, that was not a good one. That one we had some issues with that one. I think.
Just saying.
How in the world is OU going to keep it close? We'll talk about that tomorrow.
They won't.
Mizzou beat Boston College, who beat Florida State, so that's a good team, right?
So by deduction, Florida State's a really, really good program.
Florida State, the worst team in the ACC.
Literally,
unequivocally, 18 out of 18. The worst team in the ACC.
Vanderbilt is a better opponent than Florida State.
Correct.
Okay, well.
Missouri beat Boston College at home as a 17.5-point favorite by 6.
And needed some help to do so.
Yeah, some big helps.
Big helps.
So, Missouri also has not played anybody. Are you catching the theme here?
Do you see what we're saying? Georgia has 2 opponents that have weight to them. At home, SEC night against a very stout defense. Neutral site away from home, a road game for both against Clemson, who we're going to see play out, who Justin might make the playoffs.
Not might. Who's going to make the playoffs out of the ACC, Clint? Name the team that's going to compete with Clemson to make the playoffs out of the ACC.
The only one that you might hope for is Miami.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who's just so happens to be next on our list when we come back in segment 3 right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pros if we're nothing else. Do you see how we just
nothing. You see how we work that transition.
Hey, dog fans, have you heard about Roy? It stands for Return on You, and it's a new platform that lets you, the fan, get involved in NIL like never before by making contributions directly to your favorite athlete. By supporting players directly, you can help shape rosters, retain talent, and keep your favorite athletes out of the transfer portal. As all of you know, NIL has changed the game for athletes. Roy changes the NIL game for fans. Here's what's going to happen. You get exclusive content. If you support them, you get exclusive content. Contribution of the successful campaign, they receive access to exclusive content from the athletes, such as announcements, decisions, behind-the-scenes footage, and other personal reflections, as well as you get to engage with athletes on their NIL journey. By using Roy, fans not only support athletes financially, become part of their name, image, likeness journey, helping them succeed both on and off the field. Download Roy for iOS and Android. Enter referral code LOCKEDON. You'll automatically be entered for a sweepstakes to win $5,000 cash. Visit joinroy.com for additional details. No purchase necessary, void while prohibited. Get the Roy app on iOS, Android, and start making an impact on your favorite team. Use referral code LOCKEDON for an opportunity to win $5,000 cash. Visit joinroy.com for more details. No purchase necessary, void while prohibited. Get off the sidelines and into the NL game with Roy.
I'm so jumped the gun there. I got a little excited.
You got a little Tennessee
back
on
here in
us.
the third segment. We're just back here in the third segment. We got the loyals here. Like you guys are here. We're here. Let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes.
Can we please?
Let's say a nice thing first.
Okay.
I think Cam Ward should be the favorite to win the Heisman. I think Cam Ward should win the Heisman.
I find no problem with this. As a matter
Why
of
is
fact,
no one talking about Cam Ward to win the Heisman? Like,
he's an incredible athlete doing incredible things at the quarterback position.
Yeah, absolutely he is.
Okay.
Ball State, Florida A&M.
Oh no. Yep, go ahead.
And their marquee win of the season.
It's not great.
The Billy Napier-led Florida Gators.
By the way, is there a text thread of Harsin and Billy Napier that is going around?
I mean, surely Billy Napier is talking to Jimbo and being like, what's the first thing I should buy? Like, where did you invest? Like, you got to get some invest. Billy Napier's about to come into a large sum of money all
11 million of them buckaroos.
Yeah. So, Miami beat Florida, and we all fell in love with Miami. Now they're the number 8 team in the country. That's fraudulent. I'm just trying to tell you, it's a fraudulent win. There's nothing good about beating Florida. No. Florida is a 4-point favorite over Mississippi State this weekend. Mississippi State, who just got taken to the woodshed by Toledo at home. Clint, has there ever been a transitive property more glorious than a team that got taken to the woodshed by Toledo? Lost to Toledo by 30, Clint. Is only a 4-point dog to the Florida Gators. Just imagine if we got that Toledo-Florida matchup that we'd always wanted. Like how badly they would crush them. Miami hadn't played anybody. They got nothing on their schedule that gives you any confidence that they are legitimate whatsoever. How about Oregon, Clint? That's the next team in the top 10.
Well, they had the Civil War game early on in the season in Ohio.
They did. They won it handily.
They did. I didn't think they would. I thought it was going to be another close competition. But the first 2 weeks of the season, they got caught and almost screwed around and almost lost a game, Daniel.
Yeah, Boise should have beaten them.
Yes, they should have.
And then you played a cupcake, and you looked terrible in that game.
You didn't look great.
So your only win where you looked even remotely decent was against a unranked, has been forgotten about team from that nobody wanted. Like they got left out of every conference in America. So congratulations to Oregon. You're doing great. And then we moved to number 10, Penn State.
Okay. I don't know when we not we locked up, but we as in other people of sports will ever wake up, because if you don't think Penn State has a game on their hands against the Illini coming up in a couple of weeks, the Illini shook Kansas.
They did.
Kansas got a good quarterback.
They did.
Kansas got talent on that team. But Bowling Green, come on.
Well, I mean, they're going up against Kent State this weekend, who Tennessee fans will tell you is a legitimate football team. Kent State, Golden Flashes.
Do you see, if you just look and you survey college football, not all wins are the same.
Summarize it for us.
Not all wins are the same. Not all teams in competition are the same. And statistics bear out against the cream of the crop, not against who you want it to. Now, you can only play the teams on your schedule. That's not what I'm saying. So Ole Miss, Texas, Ohio State, you're undefeated. You have to be. Keep that up. Keep that going. What I'm trying to tell you is don't disparage other people because they didn't look, quote, electric, when it's easy to look electric and jam a basketball through a hoop when you're on a trampoline. It seems
in a gorilla suit.
And then you come back down and play the actual team and you go, this isn't the same.
It has been an interesting start to college football because
Wild.
As many awesome conference matchups as we're going to get this year, and we're going to get a lot. And I mean, I think they start this weekend with Oklahoma, Tennessee. I think that's a great matchup. You know, we got Oklahoma State, Utah this weekend in the Big 12. Obviously, Alabama, Florida, or Alabama, Georgia next weekend. As many of those as we're going to get, we did not get very many epic non-conference matchups. Like Texas, Michigan was like our big non-conference. Like Michigan's so bad, guys. Like
So
Michigan's
horrible.
so bad. Like USC at 11 is the only team, is the next team that's even beaten anybody like in this entire thing. So we're not saying these teams are bad. What we are saying is they haven't beaten anybody. And we're saying that only because, wait for it, they haven't beaten anybody. And so when you beat somebody, please jump in the comments and let us know about it. And we will celebrate your tremendous accomplishments here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Come back tomorrow. We're talking locks for the week of college football. And we're talking about how Georgia can win the bye week, how Georgia can get a W in a game they're not even going to play. So, which is sort of what Tennessee's been doing all year, to be clear. We'll be back then, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.